Right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and children. Bears of Everest here, and welcome to Blood Bowl! Blood Bowl.
Ooh, did you see that, Jim?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it, Bob.
Good thing we've got a replay then.
Go into another chat, John, by the way. Cool. So this is my Elizabeth team, quest off of Raptors, 5 Saurus, 7 Skinks, 3 rerolls, 4 pretty much bang on $1 million yen. The natural currency of the old world. And okay, we've seen some losers. And this is the Norse team, which is insane. So it's a Yeti, 2 Ulfwerner, 2 Berserkers, 2 runners, and a thrower with extra linemen. I think they've got 12 players. No re-rolls, which you'll see is a problem. But in terms of hitting, this team hits like a fucking truck. Hello, little goblin. So I win the toss and I choose to receive. So I was actually thinking about this, and the reason I chose to receive is because his team's going to hit me so hard. What I don't want is to defend the first turn, half, just to get to the second half with no players. So I was like, fuck it, I'll score and try to survive. You know, because Jesus Christ. Like, so Yetis. So Yeti treats your armor as 7, which is really easy to get through because you roll 2 dice and you just have to equal or beat their value. Is it equal, John, or is it B? I think it's equal, right? Yeah, so you have to equal their value. So obviously 7 plus, it's like a 50% chance of doing it on 2 dice or something like that. Or thereabouts. It's you know, really quite easy to break armor. And he does that to anyone, so like my Saurus, who have armor 9, that makes them really vulnerable to it. So, so I've set up hard on the right side because I'm just going to create space for my Skinks to get through. This is all about me scoring, and it's about me trying to create a hole in his line to let my Skinks through. So, for those of you who might not have played Blood Bowl before, it's like a mixture of rugby, American football, and Warhammer. And players can die, which is brilliant. You can foul, as you can see.
Not a wise place to end your turn on the border of the pitch.
So,
if the player gets pushed into the crowd, well,
my opponent, the Lizard King,
it took 3 days
hats
to
off
piece
to
the body back together.
Proper gentleman. Definitely came with a different strategy to me. He just wanted to hurt me as much as possible. I came in it to win it, you know, but yeah. So, what is the overlaying strategy of my team? Well, so the Skinks clearly are going to be the scorers. So Saurus have an agility of 1. So what that means is that they are never going to be dodging or picking up the ball. So if you go next to them, they're going to try and punch their way out. If there's a ball, they're going to maybe stand near it, but they're not going to try and pick it up unless you're desperate. And so it begins. This is turn 1, and I've already lost one of my front line to that fucking Yeti. And this is why you need rerolls, because what he's done though is he's gone for it. So on a 2+, you don't fall over, like as you try and sprint further. But he did not bring rerolls, so his guy knocked himself out. I think he did more damage to his own team than I did, but you know. So what's going through my head here? Well, I've got a Skink, and I want to get as close to their ball as possible, but I don't want to go down this side of the pitch because this guy's crazy. So that means if they don't successfully take you down, they can hit you a second time, which risks your player being pushed off the pitch, which loses me the ball and probably gets my guy killed. And also just because it's a lot of dodges. So Skinks have this thing called Stunty, which means that they never modify their dodge roll, whereas other players, if you were dodging into multiple players' tackle zones, where you're like next to them, your dodge gets harder. So it's like a negative modifier to that dice roll. Skinks don't care about that because they're so small and slippery. So you'll notice I've created a hole here, and I've moved this guy through. I've positioned this skink here to try and... This is where the bulk of his players are on. I've tried to net them, and I'm just trying to make it difficult for him to get guys next to my skink. I'm not worried about these guys. There goes Saurus number 2. Go to sleep. So I think if I was to Saurus number fucking 3, this is my game by the way. There's another go for it. This is why we need rerolls. That's 2 turns, 2 rerolls needed. Like, you need to understand with Blood Bowl is that Knuckle hates you. He might hate your opponent, he'll still fuck you. You know, he spreads the love around. So, don't do that. So I'll put this guy here because none of his guys can reach him, and I'm trying to stall out the turns because the less time he has to return the drive this half, the less likely it is that he equalises. What I really don't need him to do is go into the second half with 1-1 because he's going to receive, and that means he could win 2-1, which would be a real pain in my backside. Especially if you consider, player retention. I am losing the physical game, so I really need not to go into the second half with less players because it makes it much easier for him to score.
That one's bigger than hell.
Ow! Ow! Why are all my players unconscious?
Shuffling off the field, possibly off his mortal coil.
So you maybe didn't notice because I was talking about something else. One thing I've tried to do as well is I've got all my players to try and not be in base contact with other players, because you can only attack one player that you're not adjacent to with what's called a blitz. So that's when you basically your guy like runs in and spears them with a chair. So he's just trying to get guys there. But I'm going to score because I could risk another turn, but take the ball out. Like I'm at 0-0. I've got 4 players unconscious, so scoring is just the right thing to do.
If they keep doing that, we'll be in double
later on,
figures
skinks can get you scores in 2 turns. Look at that ass. Don't know why I've got human. Well, I know why I've got human ones because they don't visit cheerleaders. But I totally, if there were skink cheerleaders, I'd go for skink cheerleaders.
And a few of the knocked out players return to the action.
Now I'm going to set up defensively. So most of you probably be aware of this, but there is a sort of a standardised way to defend, and it's like an arrowhead formation. It's particularly efficient for maximising what we call tackle zones. So the tackle zones are the areas adjacent to a player. If your opponent wishes to go to exit a tackle zone next to your player, they have to roll a dice. And as you've seen from dice rolls from his first 2 turns, rolling dice sucks. So this formation allows me to force him to enter tackle zones. It also means that he can only blitz one area, and he can't penetrate it perhaps quite too well. There we go. So I've kept one Saurus back because their movement's 6. They're really fast. Like he can move 6 squares, so he's got a really nice radius.
Likes to be well assisted in a fight.
Over this. So like, if his ball carrier comes into my zone, I've potentially got a strength 4 creature that can try to kick the shit out of him. There's the first injury.
They're going to spend time on the bench.
So the difference between injury and a KO. KOs, they're just asleep and they can wake back up. I think a 4+. Injuries, they're out for the rest of the game, and they have they roll on a dice to see what the injury is. Now, fortunately, both of my injuries were badly hurt, which means that they're back into the next game. But you can have stuff like, torn ACLs, lose like a movement point, concussion, which means that they lose, a point in armor value. Broken ribs, they lose like a point in strength, all of this shit. Yeah, he decided to go down with that one. I mean, it was hardcore. I admire the man, but my concern with this is this gaping ball that he's left me. Because I'm going for that. Like, I do make a mistake. I don't stand this guy up first. You should always do free actions first. That's a little embarrassing on my part, because if I'd failed here, I'd have a fucking Saurus on the floor. And he can foul him, he can move his guys elsewhere, like those guys can go and get him, like, just not great. So, I don't think I followed, do I? Do I follow? No. So, I'm trying to be quite passive, so when you hit someone, you can choose to follow or not. And obviously, if you want to get hit back, you follow, or if you want to tie people up, you follow. But like I think that would off Wernerd for the frenzy, so like the frenzy means you get to do 2. That was a foul, and he KO'd my guy. But fortunately, I think he gets sent off for it. Yeah, so little goblin sees it, get the fuck off my bench. And that's a turnover. What's that? 3-4 turnovers? Yeah, I'm just going to say like I'm not fucking about. Also, I think I've got 2 people unconscious, so I want another dice roll to see if people get up. I think there's like one Saurus who just sleeps through the entire fucking game. Cheerleader time. Alright, so. Okay. This guy's still asleep. He's sent off, so he can't come back on. Even though he's not injured, he's been ejected from the game. That guy's knocked out. So I think we both have a spare player, which means that we have the same amount of players on the pitch. And while that's going on, I'm happy.
Possession is the key to winning. Must drive the coach crazy, as his team has just kicked it away.
I have to change slightly, so I'll bring these guys closer again just to maximise the tackle zones. So you'll notice that essentially the arrowheads just got tighter. Because the principle is, if they blitz this guy on the outside, they can't progress much further because of the extremity of the distance that this guy's got. Well, that guy's got like a maximum. He's got what, movement 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can't actually get much further than the skinky hits. And if they hit on the inside, where a lot of the players can be, look at the size of that rock. Oh, it's my player.
Another player on the ground.
Okay.
The coach will be spitting tea on this.
Whereas if they hit one of these internal players, it's more difficult for them to get traction. So stun just means they're not out, but they miss their next turn of gameplay, so they can't like stand up and shit. That's a second injury, that's not great for me, but it's badly hurt, no long-term effects, so it's fine. I say fine, I'm down 3 players. That's not great. Sago gets to go again. He's so good. And you think every time he takes you down, he just needs, I think he rolled a 7. Oh, maybe I do need to get an 8. Maybe you do have to beat the armor value. Okay, well that's slightly less balked. But even so. Oh right, it's down to 8, not 7. So yeah, you do have to equal it. I thought it was better than it was. If it was 7, it'd be the same.
That player's like a streak of luck.
So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to just reduce his. Now I make a mistake that I should have positioned him here, because in terms of the tackle zones, that's like a wasted tackle zone away in terms of maximising space, because if I put him one to the left, it doesn't matter which tackle zone he goes through, he's going to have a negative modifier. So I set that up, I think I step this guy back, yeah. So that's a nice defensive line. If he blitzes this front line, he's got this second line that he can't attack and has to run into. So like, I'm forcing him to play laterally rather than sort of directly down the field. This is like one of the things that I was thinking about in terms of feedback for the Norton player. So he often overweights the players on a guy before blocking. So like, in order to get 3 dice, you have to have 1 plus double your opponent's strength. So if these guys strength 4, so you need effectively a strength of 9. So if you want to get 3 dice in Saurus, you need to have, with the Yeti, you need 4 guys assisting. Which means if you have 3 players around him, like if you position there, it's a waste of 3 players. Right? And that's not necessarily bad, but like you could be putting them into this line, you could be you can move them around my flanks, looking for passing options. You know, which he probably knows. He's just playing fucking games, but so I'll put that guy there just in case I think I'm going to blitz it, just in case my blitz fails. And also it gives my guy a +1 because the Yeti is currently making this a 1 dice block, and I don't like that. So I'll give him 2 dice block. I'm going to re-roll it, and I knock him on his ass because I'm on the last turn, so I might as well use my re-roll. And
that's kind of the point.
The ball's loose now. I can't score, but that makes it very unlikely for him to score. And I want to end this half 2-0 because, you know, that's a nice gap. So I'm going to get hurt this turn because there's lots of guys around me. That guy's a champion, by the way. I don't think he actually gets knocked out. He just sort of takes the fucking beating that is the Yeti. That's always brave, especially with no rerolls. Like 1 dice blocks really terrify me. With block, I think you've got a 1 in 2 chance of knocking him down, and only 1 in 6 of going down yourself. But still, like, ow.
Joking. You're gonna love him.
Yeah. So this is really cool. So like this was like my nightmare that guy gets the ball. He didn't have enough space to win, which I'd sort of plotted for. But like, imagine if he had 1 more turn, I would be in a great deal of trouble. I basically like have to use a skill to like 2 dice his choice. Okay. So doing quite well. I've got 2 casualty guys, but they're not dead. So you know, Scuff D lost a fucking cow in his latest game, like a Minotaur, which is, if you aren't aware, horrifying. They're like the most expensive player on the Chaos team. So I can imagine he wasn't happy about that. But obviously we enjoyed some nice burgers after the game. So that's all good. Yeah, the Bretonians racked up quite a kill count so far. Which is nuts. Like the fucking Bretonians, they're French, they should be killing.
Terrible.
Right, so I don't think I changed too much. I think what I do is I remember that he has frenzy players, and I shouldn't have my skinks 2 away from the edge. That was a big misplay. Like if he'd had not the foresight, but if he wasn't interested in the front line, his Ulf Werner could like ruin my day because they just go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and knock my guy off the pitch. So like they'd approach my skink from a diagonal facing the pitch, knock it back 1, which means that when they block their second time, all of the escape routes that for the skink when blocked would take him off the pitch, and that would mean that 1, I wouldn't have him for the drive, and 2, fucking Saurus man go to sleep. And 2, it would mean that it would have a high chance of getting injured because I think Stunty gives like a +1 to the injury roll.
Rolling up into his head.
So yeah, so they're more likely to be knocked out and casualties. So normally it's an 8 or a 9 for knocked out, and a 10 to 12 for injured. I think. Quit doing things. Yeah, whereas like with skinks and with goblins, if you get a 7, yeah, this is why I use rerolls, by the way, because when you get those double skulls, you can reroll. Because double 1 is a cunt of a dice roll. And like people think, I think the thing that people miss about this game is people think, oh, you fail so little. But if you consider, so at the end of this game, you see in the stats, this guy got 58 successful blocks against me. Not all blocks, successful blocks.
The player could spit into the end
So,
zone.
like, let's say you accept the 1 in 9 failure. I mean, he wasn't doing 2 dice blocks all the time. Like, he did a 2 dice block there. Right? But if you think that a failure on a 2 dice block is double skull or block and skull, if you don't block, that's a 1 in 9 chance. So 58 blocks, do the maths. You're going to fail some. So I'm 3-0 up. What turn are we on? So yeah, 2 guys injured. Neither of them wake up, which is a real problem for me. His guy wakes up, so now he outnumbers me by quite the margin.
They simply have a better dog, or they hit harder.
Yeah, so his turn. His turn
go
11.
down there and help out myself, Joe.
Which isn't bad.
I'm worth at least 3 players. And I could do with breaking a few
So I've got
necks
3,
to
5, 8 players. So he can
Kick
really
the ball
exert a
to
lot
the
of power,
opponents.
pressure on me
Now it's time
because,
to think defensively.
you know, I just don't have the numbers. I get lucky. That's really brutal. Especially given where that lands. Like if he'd been up, he could just pick that
Come
up
on,
and start.
guys, together.
As the infamous berserker Boneless used to say, you must only let the red rage take hold of you in the thick of battle or during lunch.
So I don't really. So I think again, I wonder why he didn't attack with his Yeti here, because now his Yeti's out, and it's like it's a 4+ for him to move. So that I would have maybe Yeti'd and then moved the other guy who doesn't have to roll a dice to move. But yeah, when you're 3-0 down, who gives a fuck? I think
They must have glue on their fingers.
yeah, he succeeds. That's good. I don't think he passes. Does he pass?
This is the purest
I think he
move
tried
of
to pass like
bloody
he got
game.
this guy over here
No
on the
chance.
far left, and that's a really difficult pass. So I'm not surprised that didn't work. I think that'd be a long pass, which is like -2. So obviously for him, he's on like a 5+, 6+, something like that. And we know again, no rerolls. Like you can't like maximise your chances.
Not what you'd expect.
So I reroll. They're really useful then,
Not up to much today.
but I fuck up. So even with rerolls, you can fuck up. Oh, yeah, okay. So I think this is where I'm a bit gentlemanly. I think so. He wanted to blitz here. I don't think he didn't do that. I think he wanted to blitz here, and instead he ended up blocking. And obviously he doesn't take down the skink because skinks are quite tough to take down. Unless you have tackle, in which case I'll guard. Dwarves are horrible.
Two big goons that get together and fall on you.
Also, like, this replay is so much faster. Like, the game we played yesterday was like an hour and 20 minutes. I know it's been 25 minutes, but like we're almost done already. I did try and do it, so it was really nice actually. So like, loads of people came in and were watching and were offering commentary and advice and stuff, which was really cool. And I really would have liked for that to have been audible, but just for whatever reason with my computer's audio system it doesn't do it, so I can only apologise for that. Yeah, so basically like what happened there was he blocked, obviously pushes my guy back, and then was like, I can't pick up the ball, because he meant to blitz and he didn't. So I, being the utter gentleman that I am, given that I'm 3-0 up, is totally, you know, It's totally not entirely selfish. I basically reset that. I put the guy next to him and was like, okay, blitz him again, because I could legit just go in, take that ball and score at this point, and I'd feel a bit fucking rude. So so I reset that. Big boy points for me. I'm a nice guy. I'm a guy. Thank you, John. I think that's more of a compliment than I could have hoped for. So yeah. No, I think the weird thing is that he ends up not blitzing me anyway. And I was like, oh, why was I a nice guy? What the fuck? But he does surround the shite out of that ball. So
they're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
Oh no, it wasn't. It just showed me. Yes, he stuns him.
Unity is strength.
So I wonder, because again, he could have blitzed with the awful and he only got 2 shots at it, and it would have been 3 dice blocks instead of 4 assists. But yeah, that guy wild animals. So because was that a blitz as well? I think that might have been an incentive blitz. So again, without you wouldn't want to reroll with him anyway because he's a loner. Loner means that you have to roll an additional 4+, and if you fail, you still spend the reroll, but you don't get to use it, which just makes it so horrible. It's another reason why I don't like big guys. Like so, strength 5 and above, I prefer to use little people, like Saurus, because they're stronger than most of the players, but they don't have any. In my view, they don't have any meaningful disadvantages. It's like their agility 1. Okay, I'm not looking to dodge with these guys.
That player's a little short.
So,
oh no, my mistake.
I think the best like strength 4 players are Chaos Warriors, because they're agility 3 and strength 4 and high armor, and they can get access to claw, block. They can totally be ball carriers, and they should be ball carriers for Chaos. Like, don't TVs, man. Yeah, like a positioning again. If you moved him next to that guy, you've got 2 less block. What are we on? 14. So I think he does like a mad pass here. I can't remember. Leave my skin alone.
Just like the slender geyser.
So dodge means that if you get that smash symbol with the exclamation mark in the middle, yeah, so he does a pass here.
Will it go anywhere?
The pass is successful, but he doesn't catch it, so you do 2 dice rolls. And again, without a reroll, like.
But I'll let the viewers make up their own minds.
Like, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so if you dodge, if they get the dice roll of smash, like an explosion with an exclamation mark, it's treated as an arrow instead, so it's treated as a pushback. The exception to this is if they have tackle. So I re-roll, and I think I get it this time. So I've retrieved the ball, because I wonder if he could have just chosen to run it down here rather than passing it, because he had things. I had nowhere good to go, so I was like, I'll move back. Now I make a slight error. I should have moved this guy like around here, because what I realise is that I'd have to pass the ball, because I've only got next turn and the turn after as a score. So I can't not release the ball and score a 4th touchdown. And I do want to score a 4th touchdown, because that guy's got 3 star player points, and I'd like him to have 6. Because 6 is a level up. And I think he just goes into kicking the shell. One moment, I'm just going to ask for a call.
We're gonna be here for quite some time.
Okay. Oh yes, he fouls my skink. Look at that, he just kicks it in the fucking head. Like, I mean, it's so rude.
Here comes the last chance.
So, again, got a bit of luck at this. Pass action.
They can hit like they move the ball.
Catch it.
I'd be one
Off I
happy
go.
goal.
As you might imagine, I do go for it because of that guy. Because again, that was an error. I should have ended my turn 3 in because of the frenzy. But yeah, and then I moved this guy so that he's blocking the Ulfwerner's way, because the Ulfwerner at that stage is the only one who can really worry me. And as you can see, I'm doing a lot to minimize the amount of contact that he has with my players, by just not following in. So like that movement there, the problem with that is that he won't get an assist because that guy's blocking him. But there's no way he can put a guy to get an assist for that Ulfwerner. So wow, poor skink. Every time that bell rang, I shat brick, man. So as you can see, right, we're nearing the end game. He's hitting some guys. Yes, it's just there's no way he can get an extra thing on and kick him in the head. And that's a turnover, which means, guess what? I'm going to score on the last turn of the game. Surely I don't do anything else. Yeah, I just scored. And there you have it. That's my first game in the league. Props to Lizard King. Lizard King. He was a good sport, and he went out, you know, to cause a lot of pain, and I think he achieved that. So I'll play Chaos next. That's going to be
After
tricky.
that match, I need to change
Again,
my
I think
undergarment.
they've got one
Take
reroll,
over, Bob, while I
which might end up being problematic for them, but he's got a Minotaur.
Yeah, do your
full
const
chaos,
or whatever
which
somewhere
terrifies me.
else, Stinky.
Stats wise, 56% ball possession, as you might imagine. That's the difference in our game strategy. Like 57 successful blocks to 18. He knocked out 2 of his own players. I didn't do anything to him. He's got 7 KOs on me, 2 injuries. So happy I've got passing yards. And that's it. You know, good fucking game. What I'll quickly do, just go back. So the league, this is the leaderboard. So Phil's ahead of me by 1 point, but I've got a game in hand. So hopefully I beat Skrain, and then I'll go to 2 wins. The guy I'm really worried about is, where is it? Body Stealers. Their team's sick. I like them. 2 mummies, 2 whites, lots of ghouls. I think he's killed a guy, so he's got a fucking zombie with him. And I'm also looking forward to playing the Bretonians, because for whatever reason they're just kicking the shit out of people. They've like killed 2 players, so that'll be good. But yeah, anyway, cheers for watching, and I don't think I said at the beginning, so thanks obviously to Skrain for setting up the
Our
cup.
magic
It's really
sponge
cool.
is really
I'm really
magical,
glad they're on
Bob.
mixed team,
That's
so
a
no
trade
decision on
secret,
that.
Jim.
But I will do this. I'll obviously I'll do videos for the next game. So that's it really. Thank you for watching, and tatty vibes.